Hey everybody, so I'm back with another video in my wedding series, and this one's a solo because I don't want my fiance to be in this video. He doesn't need to know about it because this is about my wedding dresses. So I have more than one. Getting married, I think one of the things I was most excited about was getting my wedding dress because, I mean, who doesn't dream about that? And I got engaged in October of 2014. I got my dress I got my dress in December 26th of 2014, and I'm getting married in November 28th, 2015. So I got my dress about 11 months in advance, and usually they say at least get your dress like 6-8 months in advance to give them enough time to get it produced and get alterations. So I think I was in a pretty decent timeline. That was probably the first, besides picking the venue, that was the first major thing I did. So I have some dresses here. Now, of course, I'm going to not really show you the entire dress because it's going to be a surprise. Because who wants to see it now? No, you want to wait till the big day. So what I did was I made some notes on my phone about my experience and some tips and tricks. And I'm going to show you some sneak peeks of the dresses and some videos of like trying on dresses and all that. So first of all, I would say what you need to ask yourself is what kind of bride do you want to be? Do you want to be a sexy bride? Do you want to be a princess bride? Do you want to be a vintage bride? Old-fashioned? That will kind of tell you what kind of look you want to go for. When I first started dress shopping or just looking online for dresses, I had no idea what would look good on me, what I wanted. I knew I wanted a long dress. I didn't want a short dress because that's just what I wanted. So it really helps to look online. I actually ended up following a whole bunch of designers, wedding designers on Instagram. Like I followed Kleinfelds from Say Yes to the Dress. I followed Panina Tournay, Lazaro, Inez DeSanto. Like a whole bunch of wedding designers that I saw from Say Yes to the Dress because that was the show I watched a whole bunch. And then the Knot.com has a really great wedding dress app. So instead of just like scouring the internet for dresses, which is kind of hard because you want to find one source with a whole bunch of dresses instead of going to a whole bunch of individual websites, the Knot.com has a really great wedding dress app where you're going to scroll down on your phone and you can narrow it to price range, to like different styles, like if you want lace versus ball gown versus off shoulder, like you can narrow it down. And I looked on there a lot and I saved some of my favorites. And then I ended up saving a lot of favorites to Pinterest. Now Pinterest has been really helpful for my wedding, so I kind of had an idea of what I like. So I have a wedding dress board for Pinterest, which I kept secret. It's a secret board. And then that's how I kind of saw what I like. So I am about 5'2", I'm very curvy, and I thought that originally I wanted to get a fitted dress like a mermaid or a trumpet because I tend to not really look good with bigger kind of loose dresses because since I'm small but curvy, it overwhelms me. That's what I thought going into the whole thing. But crazily enough, that's not what I got. So that brings me, sorry I have allergies. That brings me to my second point. Kind of get an idea of what you want online, but don't close yourself off to other styles. So I recommend definitely trying on some different styles out of your comfort zone as well as what you like. And then it really does make a difference when you try things on versus seeing it in pictures. Because the dress that I actually bought, the designer, I didn't like any of their dresses online. Like I was like, that's not my style. But when I tried the dress on, it was a match. So also, what you should definitely do is bring friends with you if that's your thing. I know some people like a smaller group is better. I wanted my best friends to be with me, and I also brought my future mother-in-law as well as my future sister-in-law because I wanted them to be part of the experience. I didn't invite my mom because she lives in Florida, and that kind of stuff, like it's not like a deal breaker. She's okay with me getting the dress. She's just like whatever makes you happy kind of thing. So it was not a big deal with that. But I did bring my best friends because their opinion is really important to me. They know me, they know what I like, and then I knew they were going to give me an honest opinion, but be nice about it. Because you want people who are going to support you yet be honest, because you want a dress that, you know, you're like, am I crazy? Does this look cute? Sometimes it's hard to tell, but it's good to have feedback. So what I did was I started to look at local Atlanta boutiques And I planned it, I went the Saturday after Christmas because I knew a lot of people were going to be in town. And I actually also planned it because a lot of the boutiques were having sales. So, for example, Winnie Couture, which is a bridal boutique, they were having 20% off. Some stores have trunk shows, which means that a certain designer brand will bring their latest creations in so you can get them ahead of time. And a lot of times the store doesn't carry those newer creations, so they'll give a discount too. So try to plan your visits around some sales if you can. And then also definitely make your appointments because most of the boutiques require an appointment. So the way I did it was I had 3 different stores I chose from. The first store was more of a cost-effective store. The second store was like the fancy store. And the third store was actually like kind of in the middle, and that's the store that my bestie had gotten her dress from. And if I bought a dress from her, I think I got a discount or something like that. So the reason why I did it like that is because if I found a dress at the first store that was a really good price, at least I knew I could save money. And I was like, if I like something at the first store, I'll remember it and then go to the second store. If I see it at the second store, I'll obviously buy it at the first store because it's cheaper. So I didn't want to put all my eggs in one basket by going to the fancy store first and falling in love with a super expensive dress. So the first store I went to, let me pull up my notes, it is called Bridal, and it's here in Atlanta. I know people who've gotten their dress from there. It's a very small, simple boutique, and their dresses were very, very affordable. Now, if you're wondering how much you should spend on your wedding dress, they typically say 10% of your wedding budget. So I went a little over because since I'm having a destination wedding, I don't have to incur a lot of the other costs that you would normally incur. For example, my resort wedding package includes food, the venue, setup, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So it kind of helped me to do that. Now I've been keeping track of my budget, so I'm not going to go over, but I did go over in this one category knowing that some of the other categories would be less. So that's something to keep in mind. So go in with your budget, and also go in with a budget knowing that you'll probably have to spend a couple $100s on alterations as well as accessories like your veil, your shoes, your jewelry. Okay, so I went to Bridal and I was like, this is my first store, and I was like, oh my god, so exciting. Everything just looked gorgeous. Like I was like, how am I going to pick a dress? Everything was so pretty. And I had my besties and my future mother and sister-in-law. So what they did is they gave us these little clothespins, these colored clothespins, and they gave us like 6 of them. We got to go around the store and then kind of clip which ones we liked. So that's what we did, and crazily enough, I couldn't fit into half of the dresses. So that was a bummer because a lot of the more fitted dresses, I just couldn't fit over my hips. I got a big booty and I got big hips, okay? So right now I would say I'm probably like a size 8, 10. And women's, I usually wear like a medium on top, sometimes a large on the bottom. And then a lot of the dress sample sizes are either like, I noticed are either a size 8, 12, or 14. And bridal sizes always run small. So if it's a bridal size 8, it's really a regular street size 6. So couldn't fit into a bunch of those dresses, so that kind of sucked. But even if you can at least get the dress on, they'll put like a little, it's like a square piece of material, and clip it to that so that your back's not all hanging out. So as long as you can kind of tell what the dress looks like from the front. So tried a whole bunch of dresses on, and I was like all enamored with everything. And then when I got them on, I was like, oh yeah, I don't like that. Some of them I was like, I like this about it, but I don't like that. And you just know if you don't like the dress. So it wasn't until the very last dress I tried on that my bestie picked out, which I was like, oh, this is really pretty. So I'm going to show you a little clip of the dress right here.
Do you need help? Oh yeah.
I've got heels on now, so
I think that's pretty good.
you know, out your mom would love this because she wanted me to wear a poofy dress too.
Pero get away from the dresses. There you go. Yeah. And then walk.
When you walk down, you're like this.
So I thought that this was the dress. I loved it. I like as soon as I put it on, I like was smiling so hard and I was beaming, and then I was like, I just had that feeling. So all the other dresses I tried on was like, okay, this is pretty, but then when I tried this dress on, I was like, this is so nice. I didn't realize I was going to get a poofy gown because I thought I was going to get a mermaid, but I just had that feeling. So tried it on, everybody loved it, but then like my mother-in-law was all like, okay, we can fix this right here, we can pin these down here, we can add some little blings right here. So the dress was actually super affordable for my budget. It was half of what I was expecting to spend. So I was like, wow, this is really great. But I was like, I didn't want to just stay at that store because there was really only one style in that ball gown kind of dress. And I knew that since I liked the ball gown, I needed to try more on because I didn't want to just try one ball gown and that's it. So the next store I went to was Bridal by Lori, which you might recognize from the show Say Yes to the Dress Atlanta. So I was really excited about that because they actually had the most designers there than any other bridal boutique in Atlanta. They're also the most expensive. So that's why I definitely went second. So I almost forgot to mention one thing. I'll talk about it then. So I actually had bought a dress already for my reception. So the dress I was shopping for, right, that I'm talking about was my main ceremony wedding dress. This is the big wedding dress. This is the one that I was really into because it was going to be the one that was in pictures, walking down the aisle, all that. So I went to Bridal by Lori, and I will say that the store's not as big as I thought it would be. But they had their dresses by designer, and then once you get in there, then you're like, oh, there is a lot of dresses. So we just started pulling dresses, me and my friends, and then the consultant was like, yeah, just pull whatever you want and we'll try it on. So I was like, okay, so we did that. Mind you, my mother-in-law was pulling dresses that were like $2,000-$3,000 over my budget. And I was like, ah! So just like, if you're really hardcore about your budget, you have to make it clear to everybody that, you know, I'm not going over. I tried them on still, but I was like, thank God I didn't like them. So then I kept trying on dresses, and the interesting thing is that I don't feel like my consultant was listening to me. She and this other guy were pulling dresses that totally didn't want at all. Like more like Grecian style, silky evening gown kind of dresses, and I was like, I want a fitted mermaid with, like, the description I gave was like a fitted mermaid with texture and like a tulle light bottom, because I'm having a destination wedding, so I want it to be nice, but I don't want it to be too heavy. So that's why I wanted a tulle bottom, but I don't like anything too plain. So I wanted a lot of different textures on it. A little bit of bling. I'm not like huge about bling. So they were bringing me dresses that were not fitting that description. And it got to the point where it was getting frustrating. Like my friends and my future mother and sister-in-law were like, no, 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 no. And I was getting a little frustrated. Like it felt like an episode of Say Yes to the Dress. So my bridal consultant wasn't really that helpful. She just, I think it really makes a big difference, and that's why you pay to go to those boutiques, because the customer experience should be on point. So at one point I had staggered my bridal appointment, so I had like a 10 a.m. at one place, and I had the next place I had like a 1:30, because the appointments last about an hour and a half. So I had the first appointment so that I would have time to go to lunch with my girls, because I didn't want to starve them all day. Went to the second appointment knowing I had about an hour and a half, because since that's a busier store, that's how much time you should get. So we were taking up all of my time, and then my one of my bridesmaids, or maid of honor, was like, oh, Ren, your appointment at Winnie Couture, which is the third store, is like coming up. Do you want me to call them and push back your appointment? So the bridal consultant heard this, and she was like, if you need to go, you can go. And we were like, oh no, we're okay, we're just gonna call him and push it back. But it was so rude, to the point that my friends were all getting pissed off and we were about to walk. They were just like, F this, we don't need you, you're not helpful at all, and you make us feel like we're a burden. So then Flo, who is the manager there, who is awesome, I've actually seen her on the show, she comes in and saves the day. She kind of knows, like, my body type is, I kind of have a Coke bottle shape. So I was really liking the puffy dresses. but the puffy dresses were kind of swallowing me up like I thought, because I was afraid of that. So she ended up getting me a drop-waisted gown with after talking to my friends and family and me, because I would have the fitted bodice a little bit lower so you could see my shape, but then the poof. Before that, I had tried on a gown that I really liked. It was a mermaid. Really, really gorgeous. It was so blinged out, and it had the tulle bottom and little pieces that kind of trailed down the bottom like I liked. But honestly, I thought I looked, I loved it. I thought it looked awesome, but I didn't feel like me. I felt like really, really sexy and glamorous, but I didn't want to feel sexy on my wedding. I wanted to feel like a bride. Like, oh, like I wanted to feel whimsical. That was my word. I kept saying whimsical because I knew it was also going to be on the beach. So that dress was way too, I think, red carpet, black tie kind of dress. So Flo came in and she pulled one dress and she was like, I think you should try this on. I was like, I looked at it in a bag because it's a clear bag and you can see through it. And I was like, it looks okay, but I'll try it on. I tried it on and I was like, oh wow, this might be it. And I tried it on. It had a lot of the things I wanted. And so before that, mind you, everything I tried on, my friends and family were like, no. And you could just look on their faces, and I was like, getting someone like, I mean, do you like this? Do you like this? As soon as I walked out with that dress, they were like, yes, yes. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes. So I loved it. They loved it. They put the veil on, and they put a long cathedral veil with some rhinestones, as well as like a blusher, which I think I totally want to do, because I think it's old school and romantic how you can like take the veil off. And then I cried, and then everybody cried, and it was awesome. So thank God Flo saved the day, and she actually listened to me. And the style of dress is by a brand called Eva Milady. And that style was very like medieval times to me, and I didn't think that I would like that line, but this dress was not medieval times. It was perfect. So yay! I found the dress. I actually already had my shoes. I got some Betsy Johnson her blue line of wedding line shoes. So now all I have to do is get the veil as well as my accessories, which I'm actually getting those off eBay because I don't need expensive accessories. My ears, I have to get clip-ons because my ears aren't pierced. The veil that they had me try on was more expensive than my gown. My gown was not cheap. So I was like, how are you going to spend thousands of dollars on a wedding veil? My best friend, her mom made her a veil for like just a bunch of tulle, and that was it. So I'll probably order like a veil from eBay, like a long veil, and then I think we're going to put little rhinestones on it so it sparkles like near the bottom when I'm walking. So that was that, and let me tell you about also some other stuff right here. So like I said, I had dresses. It's crazy because I haven't even like booked a whole bunch of the main parts of the wedding, but I got my dresses down. So I went ahead and bought my bridal shower dress already because it's hard to find those kind of dresses that you're like, yes, that's extra special bridal shower dress. And I'm not going to show it to you all the way, but I'll show you a little piece of it. I actually got it from BCBG Outlet. So I saw it at one outlet and they didn't have my size, and I was like, ooh. And then I went to Orlando to visit my parents, and then they had it at the outlet in my size, and I was like, oh my god, I just have to buy it. And BCBG is not cheap, and the fact that it was on sale at the outlet, I just decided to get it even though it was more than a year in advance. So the only thing is I've lost about 12 pounds. I'm probably going to lose 10 to 15 more, so I'm probably going to have to take it in. So this is one of those dresses where it's just like poof and short and like a little ballerina. So I'm only going to show you a little bit of it. And here it is. So you got a little poof right here. And it's like an ivory with a boning. That's all you're going to see. You couldn't see anything from that. But I love it, and I think I'm going to have, as a short person, I'm going to have it taken up a little bit above the knee because it hits me like below the knee, which it shouldn't. So here it is right here. You can't see that. Okay, so let me talk about my reception dress. So I actually bought my reception dress on Black Friday. Crazy, I know. There's a store called Bravura, which is like a formal dress store. They have wedding dresses, a lot of prom dresses. They have one near my fiance's restaurant, and one of his cousins was going on Black Friday for her Sweet 16 because everything was like 40 to 50% off. So they're like, do you want to go? I was like, okay. Mind you, this is the day after Thanksgiving. I'm bloated. I didn't even bring a strapless bra. I just had on whatever I happened to have on because we had spent the night at my fiance's mom's house because that's where all the family was staying. So it's funny because I tried on wedding dresses the day after Christmas and the day after Thanksgiving when I was bloated. I wasn't ready for this one. For the actual wedding dress, the main wedding dress shopping, I had on my Spanx and my strapless bra. So just make sure you have the right undergarments on because I was wearing like a regular old ratty bra and underwear and it was not cute. So here's the second store, Bridal. So I actually bought my dress 40% off of the price that was it's like all the sample sizes. So when you go to a wedding dress store, you try on the dress that's on the rack, and usually you'll try that on and then they'll measure you, and then it takes a couple months for them to actually make the dress. So the deal at Bridal was you could buy the actual dress on the rack, and a lot of people do that because it actually is a fraction of the cost. But the great thing was that not only did I buy the sample dress, I bought it at 40% off. And they had told me that this was like a brand new dress. It was only been there for 2 weeks, so like nobody had tried it on. I don't know if that's true or not, but it looked brand new. It didn't look like it had been tried on a million times. So I have my dress, so it's really cool. I'm going to hold on to it until maybe a month and a half before the wedding, and then I'll get it altered. So for my reception dress, I already knew that I wanted it to be more slim because my ceremony dress is going to be bigger. And I wanted to be comfortable during the reception leg so I could dance and move and not knock plates and tables over. So it was definitely kind of a pressure buy, but I like it. Sometimes I'm like, should I have gotten it? But now I'm like, every time I try it on, I'm like, okay, I like it. So I'm going to show you a snippet of it. I'm not going to show you the whole thing. But luckily the sample size fit me perfectly. It has a corset inside, which I love because you can tighten it on the inside, but you don't see the corset like lace up on the back. It's only like a mini corset on the inside and then the regular zip over it. So that's really good because you can make it fit really good. The brand is Maggie Sotero and Mishgli, I think. Maggie Sotero. Yeah. So yeah, this is actually like a great slim, like kind of more of an evening gown kind of look, but definitely very bridal. So I'm just going to show you a little piece of it. Do you see that? So it's got a whole bunch of crystals, but these are like white crystals, and I like that because it's like subtle but very blingy, but not like silver bling. And it's got it's white crystals, and it's on a sheer little thing over some lace underneath. So it's got a subtle lace with a sheer overlay with all these crystals and embroidery, and then the lace. So that's all you're going to see. And yeah, I really liked it. I still like it. It's definitely going to be a little big because I've lost weight, and I'm going to lose, like I said, at least probably 10 more pounds, max 15, because I don't want to be too thin. And then I don't want to lose any more weight once I get my dress altered. I'm going to maintain because I don't want it to get too big. So let me see if I'm missing anything else. Yeah, so like I said, I will put pictures of me dress shopping on my vlog. I won't show the actual dress, but I'll show like it blocked out. And if you have questions about dress shopping, let me know. It was so much fun. It was like a really, really great experience, and I'm so glad I was able to go with all of my really good friends. And I love my dresses. Like seriously, like my friend Melissa, who's my maid of honor, she took pictures of the dress and she sent it to me and everybody. She sent them to me as well as everybody, and also my mom, so my mom could see it. And it's crazy because she sent the first dress that I thought I was going to buy to my mom, and my mom was like, I don't like those ruffles. She didn't like it, and then my future sister-in-law was like, you know, I didn't really like it either, but I didn't say anything because everybody liked it. So I was like, what? So I'm glad I didn't get that first dress, but my mom loved the second dress. And then they came to visit me. My mom, brother, and dad came to visit me. When was that? Like in January or February, a month or two later. So I brought them back with me to the bridal boutique to see the dress on. So that was really special, so they got to see the dress before the big day. But yeah, I have the dress picture saved on my phone, and like I'm being like really crazy. Like I literally look at it every week, and I'm like, oh, I love my dress. Like it just makes me excited because wedding planning can get stressful, but then I'll look at my dress and I'm like, I love that dress. And you know, it's not just about the dress. Obviously, it's about like being in love and just being happy. And I really need to get on it though with the rest of the planning. It's so weird because I'm usually very on it about everything, but not with the rest of the planning. So anyway, blah blah blah. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and check out all the details of my wedding dress shopping at makeupbyrenrun.com. And until next time, I hope you guys have a great night. Ciao, Bellas.